Okay, this section is about adding and subtracting polynomials. When you are adding polynomials, you add the coefficients. So remember, coefficients are, so if you had 3x, 3 would be a coefficient in front, and keep the exponents the same. So if you're adding these two expressions, when you're adding, the order doesn't matter, so you don't need the parentheses. So first I'm going to write it without the parentheses. Now what you're going to do is you're going to add the terms that are the same, are like terms. These two both have x squareds. So this is going to be 2x squareds, and the number that's in front of this is a 1. So 2x squareds and 1x squareds is 3x squareds. You keep the x squared the same. Then I cross them out after I'm done. There's also a 1 in front of this. So 3x plus 1x is 4x. Cross, cross. And then positive 1 minus 3 is negative 2. So these are all different terms, so my answer is done. I can't combine them or simplify anymore. So letter B, I write these without parentheses, so it's 7d squared plus 7d plus 2d squared plus 3d. So my d squareds, I'm going to add the coefficients. So 7 and 2 is 9d squared. Cancel, cancel. And then 7d and 3d is 10d. So here's my answer. And then letter C, we're adding these. So I just get rid of the parentheses. So it's y squared plus 2y minus 5 plus 3y squared minus y plus 12. So I'm going to put a 1 in front of this, and I'm going to add 1y squared and 3y squareds make 4y squareds. And there's a 1 in front of here too. So 2y and negative y is 1y, or y. Negative 5 and positive 12 is plus 7. And then letter D, I'm going to rewrite it. Look for my like terms. So this one is the only p squared, so I write negative 2p squared. But there's a 1 in front of here. So 1p and 2p is 3p's. And then a 5 and a negative 3 is a 2. So here's my answer. And then this one I don't need my parentheses, so z squared plus 5z plus 2z squared minus 5. So there's a 1 in front of here, so 1z squared and 2z squareds are 3z squared. These two, this one has a z, but this one does not, so I can only take net positive 5z. So I'm going to write net positive 5z and then minus 5. And then the last one I'm going to write out, so I'm going to have 4g squared minus 2g plus 2 plus 2g squared minus 3. So I'm going to take my 4g squareds and 2g squareds and write 6g squareds and negative 2g, but then I have a 2 and a negative 3, so it's negative 1. And then down here, okay, this is different because you're subtracting. So see how there's subtracting? Remember when we do the distributive property, we need to make each of these opposite. So I'm going to keep the beginning part the same, but then I'm going to make, because this is an opposite sign, I'm going to make 5a squared to be negative 5a squared. 3a to be negative 3a. And now I combine like terms. So 7a squared minus 5a squared is 2a squared, cross cross. Negative 2a and negative 3a is negative 5a's. And there's my answer. So letter B has a negative as well. So I'm going to rewrite this one. 3w squared plus 8w plus 1. And now I'm going to make each one of these opposite. So negative 5w squared plus 3w minus 7. So you have 3w squared and negative 5w squared. So that's negative 2w squared. It's cross, cross. 8w and 3w is 11w's. And then 1 and negative 7 is negative 6. And then letter C, distribute this negative through. So it's 10z squared plus 6z plus 5. And now it's going to be a negative z squared. It's going to be a positive 8z. It's going to be a negative 7. So you're going to have 10z squared minus z squared. That's a negative 1 squared. 9z squared. 6z and 8z is 14z. And then 5 minus 7 is negative 2. And then I'm going to get rid of the parentheses, so 5x squared plus 10x minus 3x plus 12. So I have 5x squared, then you have 10x and negative 3x is 7x plus 12. And then this one, d squared minus 5, so it's negative d squared plus 3d. These will cancel out, so you have a 3d and then a minus 5. And then f, you're going to distribute the negative through, so it's 2r plus 4 minus 3r squared minus r. So the only r squared term is this, which is a negative 3r squared. Now this one has a negative 1, so 2r minus 1r is just an r, cross, cross, and then you have a 4. And these are not like terms.